Thank you. So we're going to record this webinar, but I will edit. And if you don't want to be on the screen, of course, I will avoid to put you or to tag you in the recording and the pictures that can be taken. So we are here today to talk about assertiveness. And I'm glad you came and that we can just share our vision, because I'm going to ask you to, contribute in the webinar today with, some interaction. Assertiveness is a topic that it is not, I think, even in all the languages, to translate the word assertiveness is not clear for everybody. So I tried in the title of this webinar to give an explanation, and actually it is how to dialogue without giving up saying what you think. Because if you think about it, it is kind of, you can speak up, not giving up, and respecting the other person. So we are going to go deep into this topic in a moment. Before we start, and because assertiveness is one of the 4 different communication styles, I'm asking you to think about just compassion toward yourself and the others. Why? Because as a communication style, assertiveness sounds like the positive one among the others. Passive communication style, aggressive communication style, and passive aggressive communication style. Why I'm saying that is because, when you say passive or aggressive, there is always kind of a negative connotation in the word itself. And assertiveness sounds like, okay, I'm the cool one. But the truth is that each one of us in our own life is one of those 4. Maybe you can work on yourself and you can increase the percentage of assertiveness in your communication. But one day it can happen that you will be angry because you have your own reasons. The day is was a day that was a bad day, or something happened at work. So that's why I'm saying, let's enter in this not judgment zone, and to drive toward change, start to unlearn. So don't think about passive and aggressive and the assertive in a positive or negative way. No, just clear your mind and think about those are just communication styles. And we are human. Everything can happen. So just unlearn that sense of negative and positive. I kindly ask you, do not believe in what I'm saying, because I'm not, the depository of the truth. But just I'm asking you to listen to what I'm saying, what I will share with you, my view and my knowledge, my expertise. I've been teaching for 13 years in this leadership program. Has been for so long that actually I met Salma there. And so it's just my expertise. It's what I've experienced, and I'm here to share it with you. And think about what I'm telling you, and think about yourself, and live it in an intense way. At this point, I'm asking you to take a piece of paper, and if you can write down, or your phone, if you prefer, just write 3 things that you would like to take with you from this class. I give you some moment. I don't know, a question about assertiveness, what assertiveness is, or definition of assertiveness, or how can I improve, or how can I be less passive, or... Okay, we move on. Let's face it, the elephant in the room. What is assertiveness? I ask you to share with me in the chat, what is assertiveness for you? It is a soft skill, a communication technique, style, standing up for yourself, being manipulative, get in touch with your emotions, one of the aspects of NLP. If you want to share, or you can write from 1 to 7. Well, you're shy. You can type in the chat. Okay.
No, at all. I'm thinking.
You're thinking. Okay, so I help you. Let's see. This very old vocabulary is an Italian vocabulary, and it's very old. I have it in my bookshelf. According to this vocabulary, I have an answer. Okay, saying what you think. Yeah. Which is used to verbally affirm or confirm, affirmative. So this is what is written in this vocabulary. It's this dictionary, sorry, that was translating from Italian. Is used to verbally affirm or confirm, affirmative. It's something, clear. It is the truth. So, yeah, your truth. So what you think. In simple terms, assertiveness is a healthy way to communicate. It is the ability to speak up for ourselves in an honest and respectful way. And the benefits are increased self-esteem, self-confidence, improved interpersonal relationships, and reduction of stress. So those are, because when you go and you speak up for yourself and you speak your own truth, you are certain of what you are saying. And so you face the situation with a solid ground, foundation. I was asked, why isn't everyone assertive? It's not a DNA situation. It's not that you were born assertive. Yes, it's possible that you were born assertive, but there is a lot of personality, habits that we develop, experiences that we live, people that raised us, so we were influenced by them, or just observing the others. So the thing is that we are just ourselves, and we grow up following the people that are around us and influenced by the situation as well. So here is a little exercise that I don't want you to share the results with me because it's very private. And if we go back to the positive and negative aspects of the words itself. So I have 3 examples of personalities and better communication styles, not personalities. And I have to say something that I didn't say at the beginning. I should have said at the beginning. I always repeat it. Probably for this reason, I didn't repeat it myself again. I'm not a coach. I'm not an LPL, PNL in Italian, expert. I'm just a mentor, and I share my expertise through my mentorship. So let's go through those 3 examples. What I'm asking you is, tell me, and don't tell me, tell yourself and write down if you want, think about, as we were saying before, in a very intimate way, to think about to whom you think, or the description that I'm giving you sounds more like you. If you ask Paula what movie she wants to see, she's very likely to answer, I don't know. What do you want to see? She usually lets others decide, but then regrets not saying what she wanted. It bothers her that her friends do most of the talking, but when Paula tries to insert herself into the conversation, she speaks so softly that the others talk over her without noticing. And this is Paula. Wait, sorry. Janine. Janine has no problem speaking her mind, but when she does, she comes across as loud. Janine dominates the conversation after interrupting and hardly listening. And here we go back to the negative, She's aggressive, obviously, but she's not aggressive because she wants to be aggressive against others. She's just sharing her thoughts, her views, but she thinks that she's not being aggressive. This is what she thinks, and I'm sure for that because it happens to me as well. Sometimes that I sound aggressive, but I don't want to be. I'm just certain of what I'm saying. If she disagrees with you, she lets you know, usually with sarcasm or a snip. She has a reputation for being bossy. Ben, when you ask for Ben's opinion, he gives it honestly. If he doesn't agree with you, he will say that he doesn't agree, but in a way that doesn't make you feel inferior or mistaken. Ben is also interested in your opinion. He listens to what you have to say. And even when Ben disagrees with you, feel that he respects your point of view. Obviously, this guy is assertive. Okay, here's the thing. To the question if everybody can learn, yes, everybody can learn. But everybody can learn because it is not a mystery or something hidden or something that you have to discover going through challenges. It is a technique. It takes practice, nothing more. So how can we do these? I will share with you the foundation that you have to build and structure solid foundation that we were saying before. And then I will share with you two techniques that are very useful. One is to make your foundation stronger, and the other one is to solve in the best way possible conflicts. Starting from the point that unfortunately there is no way to control how other people will communicate with us. So the only thing that we can do, and the good news, is that we can choose how we can communicate with them. So if we work on ourselves, then this is not manipulating anything like this. It is just speaking up, use the right word, and you will have the outcome that you expect. Not forgetting that whatever, even if we find the best words to share, the best words to communicate, the best way to avoid conflicts, being assertive, whatever you reveal and is listened, the understanding stays there. And not because the other person doesn't want to listen to you, but because the person is listening to you, but he has his own background, culture, religion, or thoughts, or the bad day, or a good day, or whatever happened into his life, personality. So everything, and you too. So you can match and merge only in that little tiny circle. So that's why we have to put the best effort to structure our foundations in the best way possible. And so those are the foundation that I suggest you to start from. You have to be concentrate about the I. You have to start always from the I, yourself. You matter. What you think matters. What you say is worth listening to. And you say what you think. So you matter. On the other hand, you have a listener and you care about listening to him or her. You respect whoever listens to you. What he thinks counts. What he says is worth listening to. But doesn't mean that the fact because I'm listening to you means that I have to be convinced about your theories or about your words, about your whatever you are sharing. I'm listening to you. And I think that it's worth it. But even if you are not convincing me, that's okay. So it's you, I, the other, but doesn't mean that we have necessarily match. And obviously, I put something funny. Obviously, when you do something like this, it is obvious that if you don't come across, if you don't find that way that you agree with the other person, it is possible that the other person, that you cannot find a balance. But doesn't matter, because you are accepting the consequences of your assertive behavior. So you say what you think, you're honest with yourself and with the other person, you respect what the other person thinks and say, but do like Iron Man, accept the consequences. Oh, but can you hear the sound?
No.
That's very important. I stopped sharing and now I share again and I share sound. Okay. Wait.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Now you heard it, right?
Yeah.
So yes, this is what I mean. He went there. I don't know if you remember the movie, but this is the first Iron Man 1 when he decides to share the truth. So he's speaking up. He was he consulted with all the other people from Shields, and they said, "Oh, you should say this is the version that you have to keep. You have to say that." But he decides to accept the consequences of speaking the truth. And here are my two easy tools. One, it is to structure and make stronger foundations, confirming our ego. And the other one is to solve conflicts. When I do my assertive journey, this is the first that it sounds like kind of obvious, but I share with you my personal experience. As when I was young, I was writing my essays and for school, and my mother was reading them, and she was saying, "Irene, you cannot start all the sentences with I. You cannot say always I went to school, I did this, I was very little." And so, because she said, first of all, the world doesn't go around you, and this can make sense. The other thing was, you sound egocentric. Okay. But when we talk about assertiveness, this is not bad. This is what we have to be focused on. We have to stay focused on the I, because if you don't put yourself, the I, on top of everything, you will not be able to talk to anyone with certainty, with that affirmative behavior that you want, to be able to listen to the other person. And I'm not saying that you have to go there with truth and certainties. This is not what we are talking about. But you have to go there with your foundation, your values. You have to be sure and focused on what are your boundaries. What is the thing that you will never give up on? That it's about yourself. I'm very coherent. I'm very coherent. If I say that, I'll do that. I never say I try. Never say I try, or I do, or I don't. So those are kind of my boundaries that I hear myself saying many times. So what are your boundaries? What are your values that you will never give up on? The basic assertion is the style of statement that can be used at any opportunity to communicate your needs and how you feel. Because you are concentrated on the I. of course, it starts with the I, usually. You can also use the basic assertion to praise, compliment, give information, or tell facts. I hadn't thought about it before. I would love to have the time to think about your idea. I thought your presentation was really good. I like it when you help me. But it also has inside a self-disclosure technique. So revealing your feelings with a simple affirmation. This reduces the level of stress. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but when I was at the high school, I was acting, and I said actually in the webinar for BNI, and yes, I was acting, and Katyusha is here to. She's a witness because we were acting together. She was at high school with me in Greek tragedies, and there you cannot say, because you have a script, so you have to stay on the script. When you go on the stage, if you are nervous, and you cannot break the ice and reduce the stress. But when I was giving, now I'm kind of more experienced and older, but I gave my first speech as a politician when I was 18. They took me, they threw me on a stage, and they say, okay, say something intelligent. I was shaking. The mic was, my hand was shaking, and I needed to, to have the mic in my hand. And so the first thing I said was, oh, I'm so nervous. This is a big emotion for me to be in front of you all. And the level of stress was reduced immediately. Still, my hand was shaking. So this is the self-disclosure that actually gives that reduction of stress. Here, I suggest you to do like Ursula von der Leyen. I'm sure that you all saw what happened to her when she went to Turkey. And she gives this amazing speech that is also very, very important for another thing that I usually teach, that it is the public narrative. She starts from the story of self. And then I obviously, the speech is 3 minutes. If you like, I can share with you in private. I will send you via message. And she does all the story of self, story of now, and story of us. Here, she just uses the basic assertion.
Pictures, neither. Honorable members, many of you will have made quite similar experiences in the past, especially the female members of this House. I'm sure you know exactly how I felt. I felt hurt, and I felt alone, as a woman and as a European.
How many times in this speech she says I lost count when I got to the 25, 30. It's all basic assertion. And she never say something against the other. She's just speaking up about herself, how she felt, and why she shouldn't have been treated in that way. She doesn't need to say that guy was wrong, or that's assertiveness. It's a great lesson. And as I was saying, the instant effect is that reduces anxiety, allows you to relax and to take care of yourself and your feelings as well, and to stay focused. I was 18. On that stage, I was more focused on the intelligent things that I needed to say, which I don't think they were very intelligent, but I tried my best. I did my best. So yes, you take the responsibility for your own feelings when you start with the I. And Ursula was there putting her feelings on that stage, saying, I felt hurt. I felt alone. She's not saying I felt offended, right? I'm really passionate about that speech. I wasn't a big fan of her. Now I'm just changing my idea. Here is the king of conflict resolution. How many of you know this technique. We are just 5 of us, so you can just open the mic if you wish.
No, at all. I didn't know about
So
this.
you don't know?
No.
Let's see on the chat. Okay.
No, I don't either.
Oh, perfect. So I can share with you something new. It's an acronym. It's a technique that comes from the leadership and the assertive class from the United States. So it's describe, express, specify, and consequences. This is a script. When you have, you can, it cannot, okay, when you start practicing, then you can use it even when you have a conflict in a moment that surprises you. So something that happens all of a sudden and you have to face it. But if you have a conflict, I don't know, with a family member, at work, with your kids, with your partner, and you can plan in advance and prepared, I suggest you at the beginning, you write down what you want to say. I will suggest you also how many sentences should it be for each one of those elements. And it's not a dialogue. You go there, you ask for attention, you use firm words, and if it's at the beginning and the situation is tense, use the paper in front of you. Because if the other person tries to confuse you, you can say, oh no, that's what I said, because this is what I wrote. So describe the situation and behaviors. Don't describe intentions or motives. When you did this, when this happened, then we will see 2 scenarios. When this happened, use clear terms specifying how long or the number of times that something happened. This is extremely important. And now that I'm telling you, probably you already knew, but never use always or never. When we are angry, we say, oh, you never do this. The other person doesn't focus on what you are saying, that actually maybe he or she is wrong, but it stays concentrated on the never. That whatever you do, this is something that happens. And I'm sure that if you recall situations, if you say always and never, the conflict will be there and probably increase. Use most of the time. Oh yeah, or most of the time. Yeah, that's translated from Italian. Most of the time, or two times, 3 times. And this section should be 3-4 sentences, no more. And usually the DESC doesn't stay longer than I don't know, 1 minute, 2 minutes. So it's a very short, brief. You just say, when this happened, I felt in this way, or I was angry, or I was something. So express yourself. Express, if you use the phrase, I feel that, don't say, I feel that you are doing this, or I feel that you are going to do that, because this is an opinion, it's not an emotion. You have to say that you feel. I feel in a way. I feel hurt. I feel alone. Don't say I feel that you, because after that you cannot say I feel that I. Express your feelings calmly in a way that will help, to fix the situation. Then you have specify.
Irene,
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have only a question for the first part, describe.
Okay.
So we need to describe the situation to ourselves, between me and myself.
No. You describe to the other person. So you and I are fighting, and because you know that there is something critical between you and me, and we have to solve this. So you come and you say, Irene, when you speak to me, no, it's not with yourself. So the script, the DESC is a roadmap to face the other person that is the counterpart of a conflict.
Okay. And do we need to do it directly after that we argue, for example, or we need to take time?
I would suggest to take time. But why don't you write your questions so we can move on, and then we have the Q&A at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So express. I feel hurt, I feel alone. One sentence. Specify. It's not translated. Voglio means I want. So be specific. Use a specific time frame. Ask within reasonable limits. And again, only one sentence. And then consequences. If you do so, then. If you don't do so, then. So this is the positive consequence and the negative consequence. What I suggest you to do is start always with positive outcome, because when you do the negative, then it's kind of a punishment, and it's kind of, you are assuming that the other person won't do what you are asking. So you describe, when this happened, I felt hurt, alone, whatever, and specify, I want that you do in this way. If you don't do so, then those are the consequences. And I forgot any. So here's the first scenario. In a relationship, you are giving an ultimatum when your partner has repeatedly threatened the relationship. Describe, yesterday you canceled our weekend trip at the last minute. When I told you that this situation makes me feel bad, you threatened to break up. Then you said you didn't mean to threaten the relationship. However, this is the second time. Not always. This is the second time you have done this in a similar situation. Express, I feel hurt by your actions and angry that you threatened the relationship at these times. Specify, I want to be able to share how I feel when your actions hurt me, and believe in our ability to be united even in difficult situations. Can you commit to listening to the impact your actions have on me without getting defensive? And more importantly, can you not threaten the relationship when it is not your intention? Consequences. This will rebuild my trust in you and help me continue to engage in the relationship. However, if you threaten to break up again when I'm trying to communicate how your actions make me feel, even if you don't mean it, then I will end this relationship. I know this is a little bit longer than what I told you, but it is needed. She has to say those things. And you see, there is not space for a dialogue. This is what she's saying. Then you stay silent and give to the other person, because we go back to the foundation. We care about what the other person will tell us, even if our mind will not change. But yes, we will listen to him in this case. Another scenario, in a professional environment, and there is a power dynamic. So there is a situation of power. I'm talking to my boss. Your boss wants you to do extra work for a last minute project. This will require you to work on the weekend and give up a personal commitment. So you describe, this is nice. There is also like a little tip at the end. I would like to help you with this project. However, I am unable to do so because this is a last minute request and I have commitments this weekend that I am unable to move. Express, I'm sorry, I can help you this time. Specify, I understand that this project is important to you and I would like to help in some way. Consequences, I have two suggestions, and this is the tip. I can help you with the project first thing on Monday morning, or I can offer some names of people who I think might be able to help you. So in a situation of power dynamic, you give an option. So you're not saying no, but you're saying no, but, and when on my terms, not on your terms. So we use those tips to help us to improve our assertiveness. First of all, again, as we said at the beginning, just decide or just accept and be compassionate to yourself and to the others, but to yourself first. And, sometimes can be passive aggressive or assertive. Either one is fine. If you decide to be passive, or if you decide to be aggressive and not assertive, for sure there is a reason. So just, accept it. If you want to improve your assertiveness, it is healthier for your soul, for your balance, but this doesn't mean that the others are totally bad. Because I like assertiveness, of course. but yes, I am passive and aggressive when it happens. Plan your response in advance. As I said, the DESC, for example, you use the DESC and you have to be able to do it. So write it and use a script. And even when you are not using a script and you have any help that surrounds you, like anything that you prepare in advance, before you answer, breathe and reflect. Don't let guilt get in the way. You are egocentric. So what? I matter. And what I think matters. So I'm not being egocentric. I'm just saying that you matter and I do too. We use a positive dialogue with ourselves. So just be kind to yourself and take an assertive attitude to yourself as well. When you do the DESC, try it at the beginning, the first times, with people that you know, that you trust, so you don't feel judged, and maybe they can give you an honest feedback, and believe in your own values. Well, I say that this is at this point, I'm glad that I shared with you something that I don't know about you will tell me at the end about the basic assertion. And I'm glad that I shared something that you didn't know before, the DESC in this case. And I say that it's the beginning of a journey, because what I propose as a journey to the assertiveness are those 6 steps to discover assertiveness, nonverbal communication in 6 steps. That nonverbal communication is, again, we are not manipulating anyone. We are not reading between the lines. We have just to be observers, because when you observe the other person talking to you, you are telling him that, or her, that they care, that they matter, and you care about them. And you can read if they are feeling your empathy through the body language. Communication styles and how to recognize them. And assertive techniques 1 and 2 that are part of is the first one is the basic assertion, and assertiveness in 9 scenarios. And then the other 4 are, I truly like them, because it, again, are some of the tricks that help you to be more assertive and help you in situations when you are, in it's a critical situation, like how to receive and give negative feedback, how to explain yourself with no excuses. I usually say, if you are late to an appointment, why you have to say, I'm sorry? I mean, first of all, probably you're interrupting the meeting. So you're already late. Everybody noticed. But when you say it, you are voicing out the fact that you were late. And it's kind of putting yourself a little bit down, like in a little space of guilt. People don't think that you are guilt. People don't think that, but in that, the monkey mind here is already records that you got late. Why you have also to say, I'm sorry? And this is something that I usually, when I go to the United States, I have Italians are not as polite as as the British side, English culture. And even when they sneeze, they say, "I'm sorry." For us, for Italians, why should I say sorry if I'm sneezing? So it's a cultural thing. In this case, mostly in a work environment, I always avoid to say I'm sorry. Only if my behavior interrupted the project, I will never say I'm sorry. I will say, how can I fix it? I know it happened. How can I fix it? So this is another tip. How to manage a conflict, and the DESC is one of those tool, and how to say no without saying no. Now I'm asking you to take back the sheet of paper where you wrote the 3 things that we were saying at the beginning. And among those, if there is something that, if I answer to your questions, now we're gonna stop sharing. This is my last suggestion is, there is no perfection, but just be honest with yourself and kind. I suggest you to visit my LinkedIn profile if you didn't do it before, because I share assertive pills, 60 seconds for, that's not a second, for my about assertiveness. And now I'm going to start also some short videos about international networking and how to structure your strategic plan. And also, okay, of course, if you like to learn more about assertiveness, we can just chit chat in a one-to-one meeting. Let's meet for a Zoom coffee. And those are my social. So it's very easy. It's always my name and surname. Surprisingly, it's not it's not taken. And here we are. I stopped recording.